What's going on, YouTube? My name is Ginge TCG or Chris, and today I'm back with another episode in Season 3 of the Battle VIPs podcast, joined by my co-host, Avery, or I Am Guardian. How are you doing, homie? What's good?
We're doing absolutely fine. I bet you guys miss us over at home. I know this is a really big staple of the Ginge TCG channel, and we've missed you guys as well. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in every week.
Of the channel, right now I'm assuming most people are probably tuning in on Spotify because that's where we've been doing this for a while. At this point, we're bringing it back to Spotify. But if you haven't noticed, or if you clicked on it already, the Battle VIPs podcast actually got its own YouTube channel. So from here on out, all of the Battle VIPs content will be posted on this channel here, the Battle VIPs podcast channel. If you're watching from Spotify, make sure you go check it out on YouTube. Just hit the sub button, give it a little support. Let's help get it back out there. Now it's got its own space to grow, do its own thing. And yeah, I figured that'll help just kind of keep things smooth for the podcast, build its own following, get its own thing going. And we actually have some huge news that I believe you and me have been working on for, a few months now. Am I right, Avery?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, so we got a new Pokemon team called the Draw Pass TCG team. I do have a video on my main channel talking about the team, what it stands for, an open application for it. Actually, by the time this goes up, we'll still be looking at applications very seriously for the next couple days or so, and then more passively as time goes on. But in general, we're trying to make, I believe, both our first push for Worlds, alongside, a now very competitive TCG team. We're trying to grow that team, spread, more positivity in this already amazing community, and just give another team to just excite things alongside the Shuffle Squad, Dead Draw Gaming, Girl Power, just are some notorious ones I know off the top of the head, to name a few. And yeah, just some other news for this channel as well. What I think the direction we're going to be taking it is for all members of the official Draw Pass TCG team, because there is that very public aspect as well that I talk about on the video. For all the official members, this will be a channel where they can post any master classes. There might be some small teaching series, or going from noob to pro type series, just anything that's going to be podcast related, learning related, teaching related on the Pokemon TCG will be posted here. So it might be myself posting, it might be my guy Avery posting, it might be another person on the team, but regardless, we'll have a full roster for the team posted by Sunday this week. We'll get a full roster out, and then maybe some small series ideas that one or two of us may be working on, so stay tuned for those as well. Is there anything you might be working on, Avery, while we're talking about it?
As of now, I might be interested in doing a video on Hydreigon and how a video on that. I could also do a couple of meme videos where it's a master class into Joltik box, and it's just a picture of boss's orders, and that's it.
Low key, actually, I'd watch. I feel like that would blow up like a minute long video where you just leave boss, don't say anything, just call it a day.
All right, so here's how you play Raging Bolt in the current format. As you see above you, we have the times tables for the 7 on the multiplication scale. You know what I mean? You can power this up. Think of each TL Mask Ogerpon as going down the left column once more. And then when you use Professor Sada, you skip 2. Now, don't lose me. 2 is a big...
Lie. That actually would go crazy. I think I would love to see that. No, I think you should. I think we should have Avery's master classes as YouTube shorts for the channel. I feel like those would go insanely well. So yeah, stay tuned for Avery's master classes. You will definitely learn your 7's times tables, assuming he doesn't prize those as well. And I will figure out something. What?
That was wild. That was a crazy call out.
Speaking of prizing things, on our jerseys, all the players will have quotes. So on Avery's, his quote, if you would like to share as well.
It's prized, isn't it?
Yeah. No, homie does prize everything he needs, just about every single game he ever plays. So yeah, all of us will have some fun quotes on the back. There'll be a ton of stuff to share that I'm sure all of us will want to share with you guys in the mini-series, so definitely stay tuned to those. But yeah, without further ado, I feel like we've been talking a while about where the channel is going and everything, so let's get into the regularly planned stuff. The Milwaukee Regionals just happened. Yo, take it away, Avery. What are your initial thoughts after watching the tournament?
I already, as I sort of prefaced earlier in this episode, I think Raging Bolt is just I think, respectfully, you guys are kind of annoying in the way that you don't stop talking about this deck, and I mean that in the most sincerity. People who play Raging Bolt are in the group of people that say that they have an S tier deck without the performance, and I feel like Milwaukee actually gave you guys a solid thing to talk about, which is going to upset me more, because I'm just going to see a whole lot of Bolt propaganda on my Twitter timeline now, and I am not going to devolve myself as a human being backwards to play this deck. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's silly. I think that past a 3rd grade math class, you'll be able to do great with it. I like the fact of the Baby Bolt actually performing, doing a lot of the heavy lifting for that tournament. If you look at that last finals match, my son got jamming towered on the Dracloak, and they just didn't survive. Whole lot of Lucian decks are just unable to perform if a Raging Bolt or if the Baby Bolt gets set up a little bit, and the way that people just like swap energy on it, it's great. I think that amazing performance. I forget the name of the player Christian.
Labella.
Amazing performance from Christian Labella.
One of the best players.
Mr. Labella.
Yeah, no, homie is awesome. I think there's a lot to say about Raging Bolt right now, too, because I feel like one of the best ways that we've known to counter Raging Bolt pre-rotation was, like, just play one prize Pokemon. There's only 2 prize Pokemon in this deck. There's nothing they can do. Maybe they play the Slither Wings. Chances are you could tank a shot. You'll work past it. Like, it's not too hard to disrupt the prize trade. I think right now, with Dragapult and Guardy, which, I mean, Dragapult dominated the top 8, which will be the bulk of kind of what we're covering today and how that shapes the meta, but with the format slowing down an insane amount because of Badoo, it now creates an environment where this single prize Raging Bull is still insanely easy to set up and no extra thought process, because you're still going Sada manual attach for the same amount of energies, but now you're getting a single prize attacker that could put pressure early on without needing to disrupt the energy from your board like the 2 prize Raging Bolt. You could just take KOs on Ralts, on Badoos, on Dreepies, on Dracloaks, on Curlias, on Monkey Dories before things get evolved, before things get charmed, before they get going. And I think this edition of the single prize Raging Bolt and the Knocked Owl build alongside the Slither Wings offer 2 amazing single prize options to an already insanely powerful deck. So we're kind of bringing the speed back while also adapting to this slow meta with some new cards. So I think overall, this new way to play Raging Bolt that we're seeing more and more of the top players play with 2 great single prize ancient Pokemon is probably the ideal way to run it. And like we were saying, I think people always they didn't need an excuse to claim this deck was like the best deck in the format or S tier or anything, and I think it always kind of had the popularity to back it without the performance. I think now, well, it just took down a regional, no one could really say anything about its performance levels for at least 7 days. So I think, yeah, we're definitely going to expect to see more Raging Bolt in the meta. I think some decks should prep to deal with Raging Bull. I think if you're playing Dragapult, if you're playing Gardevoir, if you're going to League Cups, League Challenges, you're trying to go to another regionals, get some points in before Worlds happens, kind of finish this race out. I think Raging Bull is going to be a strong contender in the next month or so. I think there's going to be a lot this deck has to offer on the table. It can counter a lot of the top decks right now. Christian Labella is an amazing player. Homie does amazing at almost all of the regionals he goes to. He makes day 2. He's a lot. He's been in top cut multiple times. So yes, he's an amazing pilot, but the deck is also insanely strong. So I'm not trying to discredit Labella in saying that. I'm trying to say that this is an amazing meta call. And if you're looking at players like him that are good at these turbo decks, I think you should look at this one as well. But yeah, no, awesome deck.
True and real.
Yeah. Coming in second at the regionals, we do have Dragapult, and Dragapult actually got 2nd and 7th, and Dragapult Dusknoir got 4th and 5th. So actually, you know what? I'm kind of curious to see how different these lists were. I'm actually going to try to pull that up real quick. So I believe if
how different could they be?
I am not sure. But we'll wait for this to load. And what place did I say got 3rd and 7th? Did I not open all of it? It's probably loading because I'm trying to open all of these at once. That's on me. Oh, well.
Right, I think... Yeah. 4th and 5th was Dragonor.
Yeah, and 2nd and 7th.
2nd and 7th was just Bolt.
Oh, hey, TCG player. Thanks. You guys should go to TCG player via my link in the description down below.
Here you're going to see a different pink card, and that's all we're going to be talking about is differences, because Dragapult players...
different. I feel like Unfair Stamp is the more popular way to play it right now.
Yeah, I just like Crystal. Me personally, yeah. I'm a Crystal believer.
That's fair.
Because you can just search that out with Arven.
No,
you can search out Unfair Stamp as well.
Yeah.
But it leaves you open to being able to Crispin a lot easier to 2 different Dragapults.
I think the goal with Unfair Stamp, though, is to give you a better mirror matchup and also to deal with Guardy, which is one of the most popular decks we're seeing at the moment, because Guardy doesn't have trade anymore. So now if you Unfair Stamp and Phantom Dive without taking a KO, but setting up damage counters for then a bigger multi-KO turn, Guardy will most likely be left in the dust. You know, there most likely won't be much they could do with the 2 cards in their hand. I think the Unfair Stamp build is insane. I think, honestly, if I were to play Dragapult, I probably would lean towards that over Crystal at the moment. I think Crystal's more efficient. I think since the format has slowed down, Unfair Stamp is more disruptive, and you know I kind of lean towards the disruptive builds a little more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And actually, what's crazy, now that you mentioned Crispin, there's not a single Crispin in this deck. There's not one. This whole thing is just geared towards manual attachments. An EXP share to move energy, which is always nice. A good EXP share, when you get KO'd, you know, you put an energy, basic energy, from the active Pokemon that was KO'd to the Pokemon on the bench with the EXP share. But other than that, I really don't see any energy acceleration in this deck, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, no, I mean...
And you got Luxurious Cape for a bigger Badoo. You got the Luxurious Cape, which we did see if you watch the stream with the regional. Multiple people had put Luxurious Cape on Badoo to just buy it more time for those manual attachments and then to get going on Dragapult. And I feel like another crazy thing I noticed watching Dragapult, which I didn't really notice last time I was, I think it was Seville was before, is I feel like the Dragapult player who attacks first ended up being in the worst situations come later game, which is crazy. I did not kind of see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, with the oppressiveness of Dragapult, you would sort of expect that to not be the case, but...
Right?
Mainly, it's just like... I feel like when they take the first KOs, and because we don't have many, draw engines that are easily available to a deck, getting Iono'd hurts a lot more. We don't have Bibarel anymore that can bring you 5. Ends Zoroark, which a lot of people have been telling me is like, oh, it's the greatest draw engine ever. We'll talk about a card that's getting reprinted that might make that the case.
True.
But... as of now, Zoroark just isn't worth playing. It's too clunky. It doesn't fit in every single deck.
Yeah.
Trade's cool. The attack doesn't make up for it. So with the lack of draw engines in the format right now, aside from running things like 4 Iono research, things like that,
and Fez.
We've been sort of... And Fez.
Yeah, Fez is like the only good draw engine that every deck can play, but it's a 2-prize liability.
Yeah, and it's in the mirror matchup, it's going to get touched. Like, that's just how it is.
In every matchup, it's so easy to just boss KO Fez and know if your opponent doesn't have a big hand, there's not much they're going to do. Unless they have Night Stretcher in hand, so just bring Fez back. Yeah, I think the coolest thing about this Dragapult build is the Genesect. I think we've been seeing more Genesect. I know the video that's going out at the same time as this one on my main channel is also playing Genesect. Playing Sarah Ledge, actually, which we'll get into in a bit. But a Genesect legitimately can win games. Like you're talking about playing Crystal. Yeah, you play Genesect, you get the rescue board down on Genesect early with the Arven. Stop your opponent from playing Crystal, so now they have to Arven, they can't, or they have to Crispin, they can't Arven. In those Crystal builds that we see, I think that's huge for Genesect. Even playing Charm to put on the Genesect so Dragapult can't take it in 2 KOs with Phantom Dive and use the damage counters to take it out in its entirety. I love the addition of Genesect and Dragapult. I think that is a great help against Gardevoir and stuff like that. It stops them from playing Blender, Secret Box, you know, whatever A-Spec they're running. And even Dragapult kind of limits the Prime Catcher, you know, Joltik Box, same thing. So I do really, really like Genesect in Dragapult right now because it's a slower deck that forces other decks to play just as slow with cards like that.
Yeah. But one thing about Genesect is if you know your opponent has it in their list, if you just play your A-Spec early, it's not that big of a deal. Genesect is also just a liability.
But I think normally when you're playing a slow deck, that's okay, right? Because it's like you find out I'm playing Genesect when I play it, which is true. But if we're playing a deck like Dragapult, which is naturally slower, you could kind of play the notorious Guardy strat of just playing best of ones. Not taking useless actions, but matches just take a while when you're playing a slow deck like Dragapult that puts your item lock pressure. You know, now you've got A-Spec pressure. Now there's so many other things. You know, you could spam Iono in the late game, you know, to just draw out more time against your opponent. And I think when you're considering that aspect where now you got to teach yourself that best of one style of play, where you're just forcing more awkward situations for both yourself and your opponent, Genesect I think gains a lot more value because yes, you'll see it, you'll know it's there, you can deal with it the next game. But if game 1 takes 30 minutes and we don't finish game 2, it ends in a tie, it's still going to the Dragapult guy with the new Genesect. So I like it. I think it's solid.
Yeah, me too. It just doesn't bother me as a player because I'm very, very aggressive with the way that I play.
True.
And it's sort of
It's
like,
true.
you know, my cloaks were in the deck for the fashion. I wear candy in a Dragapult. Like, I will have Arvin for Crystal Candy on turn 2. I hope you got that Genesect down instantly, because if you didn't, you're gonna be dealing with a Phantom Dive.
Yeah.
And I guess that's sort of that's literally specifically for me because of how aggressive I play this game.
Yeah.
But to a more slower player, as someone who actually thinks a little bit slower, and how to play a little bit slower, that's definitely gonna be a detriment. And that's sort of why it's here. And being one repriser sort of makes it a little bit tricky to knock out because you don't want to be on an uneven prize card.
Yeah, unless you're dealing with single prizer after single prizer. Maybe if you took a KO on Badu early game, you know, before, like, it's not just sitting on the bench and you have to now boss up or snipe Badu. Like, I could see how it's easier to be like, all right, I got a boss KO Genesect. I'm already on an odd prize. Now it'll put me back on even. But, you know, if you're on that even prize card, like you said, now putting yourself on the odd prize card just to boss up Genesect, or if you're relying on Prime Catcher to do stuff like that, now you can't even play that. That's what I mean. Like, Genesect is very, very sneaky. Alongside Unfair Stamp, like, I like the combo the two of those offer together a lot. So yeah, no, I'm a fan of this Dragapult list. I'm not necessarily a fan of Dragapult in general. I kind of love when decks I play smack on Dragapult. But, I mean, this has been dominating the format since rotation. It got, what, 4 out of the top 8 spots. What did we say? It got 2nd, 3rd, 5th, or 4th, 5th, and then 7th. The top 8 alone had 4 of them. What was the overall metagame for Dragapult? If we look at day 1, there was 162 Raw Dog Dragapult and 116 Dragapult Dusknoir. And oh my god, wait, there's actually 35 Dragapult Charizard. That's so weird. Why is that coming back? Stop it. Don't play that.
Wait, hold on. What about Dragapult Golden Go? Because I know LDF played it.
So true, actually. Where is that? Dragapult Golden. And 103. Yeah, this is just Dragapult and everything now. There's what? 162 plus 116 is 270,
it was like
80.
20. It was like 28% of the meta share.
Dude, it's got to be more than that. Because we're looking, what? We're at 162 plus 116 is 282, if I'm not mistaken. Plus 103 is 385. Plus, what else? That's 1, 2, 3. Plus whatever's down here, plus 35. What did I say? 200? Yeah, you guys get the point. 205 plus 35. We're looking at 240. 240 Dragapult decks out of probably, what? A couple thousand, almost, what? 1,500 people? 18? Oh, 1,700 people. Yeah, okay, so 20% makes sense in some way, shape, or form playing Dragapult. That's insane. That is so gross.
I hate that. I hate those words.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I know we said you'll be dealing with Raging Bolt more. I mean, you can see it's getting 7% of the meta share. And at a 47% win rate, which is nuts, considering there's definitely a ton of people who did kind of rough with Raging Bolt, I'm sure, and dropped early. So that many people having that many good runs to push a near 50% win rate is really, really strong. And Dragapult as well, actually breaking 50%, hitting 50.41. And Joltik Box, which is the next deck we're going to talk about, with probably the best win rate, considering it's the second most played deck, actually breaking over 50% by a lot, at 53%. Almost, we got Joltik Box. That is insane. Let me go back here so we can go back to standings. I want to check out this Joltik Box list. This is the deck that's tearing up the meta right now. And I'm not...
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Me too. I think that Joltik Box is actually so fun.
I made a great video on this before rotation. I knew it was going to have its time. Like, this was doing too well in Japan. I saw it. I'm like, let me get my take on this before it gets hot. And I'm proud that I did it, because now I can say, like, yeah, I was on that, you know, before rotation. It's nuts. Play it. This deck is ridiculously overpowered. Take us through it.
All right, so Joltik Box, essentially what you're relying on is a 30 HP baby. Funny how 2 30 HP babies are the biggest destroyers in the format right now. Joltik Box, you always go turn 2. If you or you don't go turn 2, you go second. If you go first with Joltik Box, you're kind of putting yourself in a really bad spot. But the attack for any energy, Jolting Charge searches out 2 lightning and 2 grass energy, and you can attach them on your board in any way you want. And the main combo with this is Iron Hands EX, where you can amp you very much on your second turn of the game And going against evolving decks, this is going to be massive. Because if you think about it, if you go second, your opponent's going to be on their second turn after you already set up Iron Hands, and they're probably going to be just getting their stage 1s out. So on your following turn, you can amp you very much at your Cloak, you can amp you very much something like a Zweilous, the Dunsparce if they still have it on the bench for some reason. Any single prizer that you can smack with Iron Hands is going to give you the freest 2 prize cards of your life. You can also pair this up with Pikachu EX, which attack requires a Grass energy, a Lightning energy, and a Steel energy, or a Metal energy, don't yell at me. But Joltik can power up 2 Pikachus with its attack, and on top of that, you play Crispin. So just in case you want to attach one someplace, you play 4 Crispin in this deck. You play 4 Crispin, heavy supporter count. 4 Crispin, I think you play, 4 Boss and 4 Arven?
4 Arven, yep.
Yeah, so this deck is, I'm going to set up, and you are going to deal with it.
And if people
Miraidon such as...
Dude, you got Future Booster Energy Capsule. It's a boss. Amp you very much for 3 prize cards. Or Squawk,
exactly.
Same thing. I mean, you don't need this if you're taking it out on Squawk, but, I mean, still, this is insane.
Yeah. It fixes a bunch of your math. Miraidon searches out all your Lightning Pokemon on turn 2. You play Mew EX, so you might be able to copy something that you might have to deal with. Like, if you're playing against me, for instance, and I get my turn 2 Dragapult out, you can Phantom Dive me right back after a Joltik. You play Latias with
you can set it up on any Pokemon, which is important to note as well. You don't actually have to set up the energy on, like, an electric Pokemon, let's say. Because there's a lot of Pokemon where it's like, it's an electric Pokemon, so you have to set up unelectric Pokemon. Or it's a dark Pokemon. Like, I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying, where it's a certain type, you have to set up to that type. This Joltik is like Arceus V-Star in the sense where it's just, hey, take your energy, put them in play. So you get a lot more access to a lot of different attackers, which is insane, especially when you're playing through Psychic Energy. You could set up Lily's Clefairy with Crispin. You could even make Latias as an attacker if you need to.
And
yeah,
if you're going against a Zard or an Enzorark, your Iron Leaves hitting the field sets you up for an easy one-shot.
Oh, yeah. And you don't need any energy accelerated to this with Joltik. You can take 2 prize cards with Amp you very much on a Enzurua, on a Darumaka. You guys get the point. On like an unevolved Pokemon. And then you could bench Iron Leaves. You'd use Rapid Vernier. And then take another 2 prize cards that way, since you're getting a grass attacker that can accelerate energy onto itself by moving to the active spot when you bench it. So, yeah, it's an insane combo. And with Enzorark getting a little more popular, it's definitely not a bad deck to be at. I mean, how many people played Enzorark at Milwaukee? If we go to
good amount, actually.
I should probably go to the...
Enough to become something that you could actually think about. 76.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of people.
And you got to see, like, Dragapult Charizard was getting pretty popular. You know, we're breaking in there. There should be, like, regular
Moon
Charizard
was there.
Yeah, 12 Charizard Pidgeot, which I guess is a bit less. Like, now we're getting a bit lower and lower. Even Hydreigon. I mean, we had, 15 Hydreigons? Like, Mamoswine's weak to grass. Like, there's a good bit of grass-weak Pokemon in the format right now. They're not necessarily any one being insanely popular, with the exception of maybe Enzorark. But more importantly, there's enough of them where it's like, you're gonna get value out of Rapid Vernier ability on Iron Leaves at some point. Probably a couple times throughout the day, which proves its worth in the deck.
Definitely worth running.
Yeah, this, I think, is, like... It was the slept-on deck 2 regionals ago, and I think after last regionals, it definitely proved it's here to stay. This is a deck we should expect to see, we should expect to deal with. I feel like when you're in a Badoo-dominated meta, and you're playing a deck that just really runs an insane amount of supporters, to just set up and be like, hey, you're gonna Badoo me, I'm gonna get all my energy and play turn 2, and then you're gonna have to figure this out, because I'm okay. Like, I'm good. And if you're worried about the metal energy, like Avery said, don't. There's Crispin. You're okay. Also, there's a Vessel you could dig out with Arven. I know some lists are flirting with the idea of like EXP share or Power Glass, stuff like that. I think those are honestly pretty solid techs as well. Another deck we're seeing with that Genesect. Now we're seeing multiple high-level decks running Genesect. These decks are naturally playing tools, so Genesect kind of feels like a no-brainer in a deck like this where you could get great value out of it, especially getting value out of your opponent's Area 0 underdepths. You're playing Pikachu EX, which is a Terra Pokemon. You've got the extra bench space. Why not make one of those Genesect And you talked about how you would do like a meme masterclass where you just show bosses orders for like a minute straight. That's what this deck does, man. It blows up a setup stage 2, it blows up a basic EX, and it blows up your single prizers, all for 2 prize cards. And there's not much you can do about it just because of how much Gust is in the deck. It brings the turbo back. So yeah, I mean that's Joltik Box. Definitely one we're gonna see more and more of in the meta.
Prepare for it.
Yeah. No, seriously, this is something you should expect to see at this point. Like, be ready, practice this matchup, be prepared to deal with this, be ready for this one.
Some of these play, what is it, Calamitous Mountain? What's that stadium called?
Yeah, Calamitous. No, Gravity Mountain.
Gravity Mountain.
Yes.
And just to swing for one shot with the Pikachu EX, which also be wary of that. If you have a stadium, wait for them to play theirs before you play yours.
Yeah. Unless you're, again, going into a day 2 with a lot of time and stuff. I mean, I feel like this deck plays a little quicker. In the sense where it's not necessarily the fastest turbo deck we've ever seen in the past year, because like the whole Sword Shield rotation existed, but in this current rotation, I feel like this is one of the faster paced decks. You could see your opponents pretty much whole list. You'll see the spice that they're playing in a Joltik Box. Pretty soon. And playing Golvantula is also a slept on attacker. Don't be ready to deal with this thing too. It's not just there to put Joltik over 60 HP for Phantom Dive. Its ability is cracked. I mean, you get 50 more damage if you're active Pokemon that your opponent's active or you're active. If you're playing against it, has an ability. Most Pokemon in the format have abilities. And then if there's an electric energy attached, remember this deck plays a ton. It's an electric box. You do 80 more damage. So you're stacking on 180 damage in total as another grass attacker. Now you're one-shotting Charizards with this thing too. You're one-shotting Enzork with this thing too. Like, there's a lot of weapons in this deck right now.
It's a secret weapon.
Yeah.
Everything in this list can destroy you.
Will destroy you. Everything in this deck will destroy you. Be ready for it. Like, it's a hard one to play around. If
they can even attack with Genesect.
No, for real. Like, actually, wait, why are you right? Why did I not realize that? Oh my god. There is actually not one Pokemon in this deck that is not a weapon if worst comes to worst. I hate that. Joltik Box.
The Arsenal.
Yeah, no, for real.
Dragapult, Dusknoir.
Yeah.
Essentially, I played this deck for so long. Dragapult Dusknoir is essentially, you have more than 200, Dusknoir, Phantom Dive, set up easy KOs.
They are different lists.
Oh, wait, hold on. They're learning.
Look at that. We got one with Unfair Stamp. We got a higher Iono count. Playing a much higher line of what? I mean, we got Ultra Ball's Counter Catchers. What was different on the first one? Sorry, I gotta tab back and forth.
It did 4-4-2.
This one's playing Monkey Dory, Hawlucha. They've got the Luminous Energy build. Pokemon League Headquarters, I think, is an amazing way to deal with Joltik Box, by the way. Forcing basic Pokemon and Raging Bull and Joltik Box. Like, Pikachu needing 4 energy doesn't sound annoying. That is disgusting. And we just saw Joltik Box does not play any stadiums right now sometimes. The best person who played Joltik Box and at Milwaukee played no stadiums. Once this is here, it's staying. Great stadium to run. Definitely like the league headquarters.
They have to use one of their 4 Crispin on Joltik.
But a lot of those can go early, and you don't necessarily expect it on, like it at some point in the game. So if you're using this in the mid or late game, I think when the Crispins have been played, when they've been Ultra Balled away, when they've been researched away, stuff like that, like that's when a Pokemon League headquarters is going to go down, and you really don't want to use Joltik after that first turn. So, if that's how you're getting, a good win against your opponent, I love it. I think that's a great way for many decks that evolve and stuff to deal with Joltik Box at the moment, and Raging Bolt, 2 decks we're seeing tear up the format at the moment. So I really like that. But I think overall, I do like the other Dragapult Dusknoir list a little bit more just because it seems more concise. And I just like decks that just play less cards. They're less complicated. They're more streamlined, straightforward, easier to run. I feel like they're easier to practice those decks and stuff. So yeah, I do like this build, I think, a little bit more personally.
I say I like that one too. I also like the higher Dragapult line. When I played, I did 3 Dragapult. And I did a 2-2-2, not a 3-2-2. I like the 3 Duskull though.
I like the 4-4-3 on top of the 3-2-2. I like this heavy build of Dragapult and Dusknoir.
See, I would swap out one of those Duskull for a Blood Moon, just for something to swing really hard late game. If you're ever in that scenario.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, this list is playing Hawlucha too. It's just not playing the Monkey Dory, the Luminous Energy, stuff like that. It's and the Blood Moon Ursaluna seems to be the biggest differences. But yeah, oh my god, I could totally see heavy value. I feel like though, if you play Blood Moon, you also might want to consider looking at maybe a Turo tech, just because it could fold Dragapult if it doesn't get one shot, and we know many decks are setting up for 2-shot on Dragapult, but also if you lead Blood Moon, you've got a way to deal with it that's not your one-of switch. Like, I feel like Turo is also a really good supporter for playing that Blood Moon in a deck like this. But cutting, one Duskull for Blood Moon and thinking, maybe a Countercatcher. You're playing 3 Countercatcher, 2 Boss. Cutting a Gusting card for Turo.
Yeah, I think cutting a Countercatcher is probably the easiest thing to do, because technically, you really only Countercatcher after you blow up your first Dusknoir, and that's when Countercatcher becomes live.
Yeah.
You're not using it the most after you do your first, massive big hit with Dusknoir, because you're going to be probably taking 3 prize cards at that point, and your opponent is going to have to take, 2 more knockouts to catch up. So 3 Countercatcher is a lot for me, especially with 2 Boss. I feel like you want to get 2 Countercatcher, 2 Boss, because of that situation. If you prize your 1 Countercatcher, then the Dusknoir Countercatcher isn't going to work.
Yeah.
If you play 3, it's going to clutter up your deck. That's going to be a draw for an Earthen Vessel that you're not going to get. That's going to be a switch you're not going to get. An energy you can't get. Luxurious Cape is also very cool. I like that for the Badoos. That's very cool. But you're still diveable with Phantom Dive. You're still easily KO'd by a lot of Pokemon. I like the Hawlucha to sort of bring 70 HPs back down to 60. Which sort of makes that's actually really big for Dragapult, because we don't have a way to search out 80 HP Pokemon aside from using something like a Nest Ball. So essentially, every card in your deck can be destroyed by Phantom Dive if it's Palpable, which is huge. Because before Hawlucha, the 60 to 70 HP difference was huge for a deck. They reprinted a lot of basic Pokemon with 70 HP after Dragapult came out. But now with Hawlucha, it's just insane, and I like this list a lot. Once again, I'd cut out one of the Duskull and one of the Countercatcher for a Blood Moon and a Turo, but overall, very solid list, and that's why it did so good.
Yeah, and I've been seeing a lot of debate too. Just something else to kind of pick apart with this Dragapult list. A lot of debate over do you play Brock Scouting or Jacques? When do you play where? Which is more optimal for certain decks? And you know what? I bet if we go to the other Dragapult Dusknoir, we're going to see a Brock Scouting over a Jacques. I didn't actually check for it. No, we got Jacques here too. Okay, I'm a little surprised. Just because this one is playing a bit less of a Dragapult line, they're playing a bit less of a Dusknoir line. I could see value out of the early game Brock's guide setting up here in a deck like this. I feel like this could have a 1-1 Jacques Brock Scouting. Maybe, here we're seeing 2 Jacques. I wouldn't be opposed to 2 Brock Scouting. There's less emphasis on the evolution, but more emphasis on the setup, and I feel like that's just as important when you're playing a deck like this with less evolution Pokemon. But I think when you're looking at a more compiled list like this one, where it's a much heavier evolution line, there is 1 rare candy in this deck. You're not really relying on rare candy much. What you are relying on is getting an item locked. And when you're relying on that, playing Jacques to dig out 2 Recon Directives early, to then dig out a Dusknoir and a Dragapult the following turn early, I think that's where you could see an insane amount of value in playing Jacques in a list like this over Brock Scouting. So I think, if you're playing a deck where the setup portion you're not as worried about, and you're looking to evolve because you're playing much bulkier evolution lines like a 2-2-2, a 2-2-2 or a 3-2-2 Dusknoir line, go Jacques, go the Jacques route.
Yeah.
So I think that's another interesting thing we're seeing in I guess now both Dragapult lists. Actually, I'm curious. This is the first Dragapult. Were they playing Brock Scouting? They might have been. Yeah, 2 Brock Scouting. And they're playing Genesect. They're playing Ursaluna. They're playing Monkey Dory. They're playing more support
they got all the
prize
options.
Basic Pokemon. Yeah. So Brock Scouting definitely seems more valuable in a list like this. So, I don't know. I think that's a good way to break it down. If you're playing Dusknoir, I guess Jacques seems to be a good way to go. And if you're rocking Raw Dog Dragapult and you got all these support options, go Brock Scouting. Get the Genesect down. Get the Monkey Dory down early. Set up the tool. Set up the Luminous Energy. Get those guys ready to rumble.
Same here. I prefer Jacques because I insist on playing Pidgeot in every deck I build. So searching those things out is just a lot easier on the mind for me.
I'm telling you, honestly, I think if I were to play any form of Dragapult right now, I think this one right here. I think this one right
list
here
is really good.
I think this one is compact. It's disruptive. I think, honestly, you're going to call me nuts. I'd try to figure out if I like Blood Moon or Ursaluna as my tech or Genesect. We're playing EXP Share, we're playing Rescue Board, we're playing Luxurious Cape. I feel like we could cut a Dust Skull for Genesect way easier than Blood Moon, because I feel like if we play Blood Moon, we need to look into a Turo as a potential switch as well. And if we really, like, if there is a great value on 3 Counter Catcher, 2 Boss, because now it's so much easier to draw into them with a 5th card instead of just 4 copies of Gusting cards, like, hey, like, let's just shut down an A-Spec 2 while we're at it. You know? Like,
That's
I don't know.
very fair, yeah.
Again, something to play with. I think there's still room for Dragapult to grow. I think there's still surprisingly room for this deck to adapt, even though we're seeing it in so many different things. So, yeah, get your Dragapult matchups in. Get ready to deal with Raw Dog Dragapult, Dragapult Dusknoir, Dragapult Gold Dango, Dragapult, Charizard, apparently people are bringing back. Yeah, there's a lot.
Any Bolt.
Yeah. Coming in 6th. A man I've played once, I've sat next to a couple times at regionals, Ian Robb. Awesome player. Coming in 6th with the Eevee box.
Eevee box is a very solid deck.
Yeah, take me through it.
So essentially what your game plan here is you're going to play the Eevee, EVX, that allow you to evolve immediately into a Flareon or Sylveon. You essentially want to get out your Flareon as soon as possible to use the Burning Charge attack, which does, I believe, it's 120 and searches out for 2 basic energy. 130?
Yeah.
Searches out 2 basic energy cards and puts them onto one of your Pokemon, then you shuffle your deck. So what you want to do with this is you want to set up your Sylveon EX that you're also playing along with it. And the second attack, it's Angelite, I believe that's what it is, right, for Sylveon? It shuffles 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon into your deck. But you can't use it if you use it your last turn, which can be sort of taken away if you just switch out and back into it. So you're essentially telling your opponent, hey, those 2 Jacloaks that you got, put them back in your deck. We're not playing today. You can shut down your whole opponent's strategy. You can shut down their board state. You can do almost everything. You play a copy of Terapagos right here just to sort of swing hard really late game by using something like a Sparkling Crystal or something along those lines. You have a lot of options here with Sparkling Crystal. You can use it on Sylveon to get the turn 2 Angelite. You can put it on Flareon to get the turn 2 Carnelian. You can put it on Terapagos to get a 1 energy attack in that does decent damage. You're playing your area 0, so you're going to be hitting for a solid amount.
270, I think, is max damage.
Yeah.
Kieran, 300.
Yep, there it is. And then if you go ahead and play your Pheasantipides. You can play that for your draw support. That's your draw engine. Your Fan Rotom is going to search out your Noctowls and your Hoot Hoots to be able to draw as many trainer cards as you could potentially need during your turn.
Yep.
Your Mew EX is going to be there just as an extra draw power, but it's also going to be there to use the genome hacking every once in a while because Flareon can also set up your Mew EX to genome hacking.
Oh, yeah.
This Flareon accelerates everything inside of this deck, and it does it really well. Your EVX is also really good to start out with because you're sort of not going to get smacked by Dragapult as hard if you start off with the EVX and evolve from EVX into Flareon EX, although it is a 2-prize liability. The HP isn't there, but you also play Lily's Clefairy to sort of deal with a Dragapult matchup, as almost every deck has been able to tech in a Lily's Clefairy right now. If you have a possibility to run Luminous Energy as well, you're going to be playing Lily's Clefairy because Dragapult is a huge problem.
I think the coolest thing about this deck, though, when you play Lily's Clefairy, remember, just because you're playing Lily's Clefairy doesn't mean you need to use it to KO Dragapult. It says the weakness of your opponent's Dragon Pokemon is now Psychic. It doesn't say it's weak to Clefairy specifically. So when you're playing a deck like this, you can go in and swing with Sylveon. The top attack, you do 160 damage, and if you don't KO the defending Pokemon, you take 100 less damage. So when you're up against Raging Bull or Dragapult, you're going to one-shot them if Clefairy's in play, because you're swinging 160, now you're swinging 320 because it's ×2. But if you're up against something like, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, Enzorark, you know, you're taking 100 less damage on the Pokemon you attack. So that's huge. But Lily's Clefairy allows for Sylveon to now swing for one shot, as well as Clefairy. And not only those, but if you remember, Mew EX is a Psychic Pokemon. So if you Genome Hacking Dragapult EX, you're swinging for 400 damage, and you can put 6 damage counters on one of their benched Pokemon. So you could snipe Badoo that way as well, and take 3 prize cards in one turn very easily with Mew EX. So yeah, no, this Flareon box has some teeth to it, and
you're here to play.
Yeah,
this isn't a deck to play with.
No, No, it's solid. And this is a deck that's running the Brock Scouting. We can see, you know, this is not one, although we are relying heavily on our evolution Pokemon, we want to rely on the setup. We want to make sure we're getting our Noctowls, our Eevees, more importantly, our Fan Rotom down immediately so that we can search out all of those previously mentioned cards. But then also the Mew EX, the Clefairy EX, Latias EX. You know, there's a lot of support Pokemon in this deck we want to see hit the floor and, you know, get active with. So I really, really do like this deck and kind of where it stands. I think something interesting that I think EV box as a whole could look into. We're playing water and electric energy, which does satisfy the cost for Sylveon as well as the psychic energy. I think with Raging Bolt and Joltik box doing insane, I think maybe we could get value out of playing a grass energy in this deck during your turn. You're preventing all damage under this Pokemon by attacks from basic non-normal Pokemon. So if you're up against Joltik box, if you're up against Raging Bolt, the only Pokemon that could effectively deal with Terrapagos really, really well is Blood Moon or Saluna. Raging Bolt will not be able to attack it. You know, Joltik, or I mean Galvantula could attack it, but Miraidon can't attack it. Iron Hands can't attack it. Iron Leaves can't attack. Iron Crown? There's too many Iron Pokemon. All the future Pokemon can't attack it. You guys get what I'm saying. I think a Grass Energy, which you could accelerate with Flareon, which you could accelerate with Crispin. Not going to make any extra work for Evolution or this Flareon box, but I think does add another level of play. That's something I would definitely look into if I was running this.
Yeah, me as well. I think it's a very solid take.
And yeah, I think there's one other deck that made top Gardevoir.
Gardevoir, yep. Gardevoir has always been a problem, and Gardevoir has always been really, really good. Some of the best players in the world are running Gardevoir right now. Everyone was tweaking about the loss of refinement Curlia. Come to find out, hey, listen, that's not the only thing you ever could possibly need inside of your deck. Some Gardevoir players are playing Enzork as the draw engine because you can use Gardevoir's Psychic Embrace to put the energy on there and retreat.
Yeah, I think that's a waste of bench space. I think this deck... The biggest thing you're deciding between a Secret Box or Brilliant Blender, I think Secret Box is better. You could get more energy in the discard pile more efficiently, not initially from the Secret Box discard 3, but you could take Research and Vessel and stuff like that and get more than 5 cards as well as draw on some more cards that you're seeing. But I think the best thing about Gardevoir right now is that you have insane bench snipe ability, you've got insane blow up, your active ability with Drift Bloom, you got the tank behind Gardevoir EX, the Monkey Dory spam is nuts. It's here. This is the first regional though where it didn't win. This deck went on a 6 regional win streak, and this is the first one where we not only saw it not get first, but it actually got 8th. So it got the bottom of the top cut there, which is. And
really, we saw a deck that never won anything win. So
yeah,
a solid 180 for original. Completely shaking up the meta. Gardevoir players, their tears are filling up my water bottle right now, and I'm gonna take a sip actually.
And then there's a couple other decks I wanted to mention, just briefly. I think they're kind of my favorite rogue decks after scrolling through. One is this Ancient Box, this Roaring Moon deck that we're looking at. If you are a fan of my channel and you've watched some of my videos in the past, I'm sure you know this is almost the exact same 60 as I was playing on my video. Last time it did pretty well in a regional. I switched up a couple cards. This one has switched up a couple more from mine, but I think, not saying this person saw my video or like I'm taking credit for this deck or anything. I'm definitely not, but it's a pretty stock, I'd say 55 cards. You know, it's like the last 5. What are we switching up? I play Koraidon in every single Ancient Box deck I play. It's too strong. This person is also... Who piloted this deck? I'm saying this for Aiden Cuss. Played the Koraidon as well. I think it is an insanely strong attacker. I like the Iron Bundle play as well. I think Iron Bundle helps this deck navigate some tricky situations. You can gust up more ideal Pokemon with the active is too bulky, too annoying, whatever. And they're not playing the Dunsparce EX. And I think in a Raging Bull, Joltik box dominated format, I think the Dunsparce EX is nice. Just in case you don't have all the energy needed, the Dunsparce could probably swing for insane KO damage because there's a ton of EX Pokemon in play against Eevee box. We saw how many EX Pokemon are in that deck. 60 times each EX, you'll one-shot a lot. So I really, really like the Dunsparce EX, especially thinking of Flareon box with the Angelite. If they shuffle Roaring Moons into the deck, the Dunsparce is insanely easy to set up, and they might not shuffle that into the deck because it's just a draw engine. So, you know, I really, really like this deck a lot. And then...
I mean...
Yeah, anything you wanted to throw on?
I like Roaring Moon as like a sort of single prize deck. I just... I'm just not a fan of your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out, so I've sort of strayed away from the entire concept of Ancient Box as a whole. I love Ancient Box as a deck. I think people who play it are... I've never ran into like an annoying Ancient Box player. My first game at Locals was against an Ancient Box player. Dude was so chill. We were out here having a good-ass conversation. Everything's nice. Like, Ancient Box players are always so chill, as opposed to Gardevoir players who will sit there and play their entire turn and not even look at you, acknowledge your existence. Y'all need to start getting on your socialization game.
Call out. I respect it though. This is the other deck. I have my take. I don't want to harp on this one too much. We've been talking for a while about how the meta shaping. I think Ceruledge is an insanely good rogue deck now. I don't know if this is my favorite way to run it. I totally see the value in Rumbling Engine, but I feel like when you get into the later game, yes, this ability is insanely nice to pull you back from Iono, but I feel like I'm so aggressive with the discard that I have like 2 energy left I definitely need as manual attachments on my Ceruledges. So I prefer the Ditto Fan Rotom way to play, but I definitely want to do more testing with this Reveroom build. I also love Legacy Energy. Like, my build, I think, was really, really different as far as Ceruledge decks go from this one. But also mine played Genesect. Yeah, I played Tools. I played Tools and Jamming Tower in mine. I was cooking hard with
You're a
Ceruledge.
freak.
Yeah. I was all over the place. Go watch that video if you want to hear more about how I think Ceruledge fits in the format. I spent way too long on that intro explaining it. But yeah, I think this is another great rogue deck for my rogue connoisseurs. For a deck that's solid into the meta right now and one worth looking into. And yeah, I think that'll round out for kind of how we think the format is evolving, adapting some of the top decks we're seeing into the next couple weeks. Avery, I think there was some other big news that you were pretty excited to share.
Absolutely, but do you want to get into the Draw Pass TCG thing first, and we can end it off on a note, or would you
Did we not
rather?
talk about that in the beginning? Am I blanking? I don't remember.
No, I think we started off talking about the deck lists.
There's
Did we talk about the thing?
No, I could have sworn we did.
I think we did. All right.
I think we did.
My fault.
Because I was talking about the
zoned
channel,
out.
how this is its own YouTube channel.
Yes, yes.
That's
you're right.
where the mini series, the Avery Masterclass shorts. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Okay, I'm like,
all right, good.
Maybe we did.
All right,
it.
my fault.
No, you're fine.
All
You're
right.
fine.
So, some of the news I'd like to share with you guys is going to be sort of something that is more on the collector side of things. So, as me, I have loved the Pokemon trading card game for so long, and I have been collecting the cards since so long. I mean, I started collecting in black and white, which is why this set coming out as a Pokemon card collector is going to be huge for me. We are getting a complete Unova reprint, which means that the entirety of black and white is going to be condensed into its own special set. Now, sadly, this means that we won't be seeing pre-releases, but we will be seeing crazy amounts of products. For example, we're going to be getting things like Elite Trainer boxes, binder collections, poster collections, mini tins, sticker collections, illustration collections, booster bundles. All of these things for black and white are going to be awesome. And one of the most unique things about this set is for the first time in the English TCG history, we have a dual set. Now, for those of you who are sort of tapped in, Japanese sets typically come for main sets into 2 things. So, Blue Shock and Red Flash was our X and Y breakthrough. That's the first thing I came up with in my mind. I don't know why that was the first thing that came up, but that's sort of an example. Black and Japanese sets are split up into 2 different sections, where one section will have X ultra rares, the other section will have Y ultra rares. You know what I mean? So for the first time in the English TCG, we're actually going to be sitting on our own special sets on this way.
Sorry,
really
I've been
awesome.
trying to zoom into this for too long.
Nah, you're fine.
Garbodor. Bring her back. Bring my guy back.
One of the best parts about this is that because it's a special set, they're doing something also very, very unique. Every single Unova Pokemon is getting its own illustration rare card.
Are you for real?
I'm being for real.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Every Unova Pokemon's getting an illustration rare card. They will be getting their own regulars, reverse holo, Pokeball reverse holos, and Master Ball reverse holos. So just like Prismatic Evolutions, we are getting Pokeball and Master Ball reverse holos for the regular cards, and we're getting an illustration rare for every Unova Pokemon. This is a love letter to black and white, and I'm so here for it. It's not my favorite generation.
It is mine.
But Because of that, this set is going to have over 800 cards to collect. That is going to that might actually be our biggest set.
Yeah.
Period. And because of we're getting a complete reprint, some cards are also getting complete one-to-one reprints, like Electric, which has the Dynamotor ability, which lets you accelerate a lightning energy from the discard pile to one of your Pokemon. That's going to be a very big meta-defining card. Another card that's getting a reprint is a Professor Juniper, which is essentially Professor... it's not out yet. I'm looking on Pokebeach right now.
Oh, you know what?
I can send you the...
I could probably go to advanced search and then the Japanese standard. Is it out? It's not out in...
It's not out yet.
Oh, you know who might have it? Justin Basil.
Possibly. So Professor Juniper is getting a reprint in the form of Professor's Research. I will for the rest of my life say it's dumb how I can flip a coin on a Super Rod and have it use the same effect as a standard Super Rod, but I can't play Professor's Research and Professor Juniper. Like, I get the names are different, but I feel like it should be just completely reversed. But regardless of that, we're getting Professor Juniper's coming back. We're getting Energy Retrieval as a reprint, which is going to be massive. So the next rotation is not getting rid of Energy Retrieval. We're getting a new supporter card in Hilda, which searches out an evolution and an energy card and puts them into your hand. This is going to be awesome. We have a lot of evolution support within the format and upcoming formats, and I like this sort of slower game plan. Now, what Chris is showing you is the card I was talking about earlier that might make Zoroark the best draw engine. Air Balloon's coming back, which reduces the retreat cost of your Pokemon by 2. Now, we have Rescue Board, which reduces it by 1, and if it's less than 30 HP, then it gets a free retreat. But Air Balloon is going to make Rescue Board obsolete.
I don't know
just being
if that's
completely...
going to change Zoroark, though, because you still have Ends Castle for free retreat on all
yes,
your Ends
but
Pokemon. No?
You can search this with Arven. You don't have to dedicate...
I don't remember. I haven't played Enzork in a little bit.
I think it plays like 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, Ends Castle, you need it if you're going to be playing Enzorg to sort of swap it out.
You could
now
search
you
this
don't
out,
need to
which
play
is
it.
nice. You don't really play
Exactly.
Tenacity to search out stadiums in Enzork. Yeah, I can see this. I was thinking Air Balloon would be cracked for Archaladin. Because the last thing that deck needs is free retreat, but hey, I'm here for it. Like...
Air Balloon coming back is massive, and honestly, it's one of the cards that I used to love so much coming back. We're getting Ignition Energy, which gives 3 colorless energy to an evolution Pokemon for 1 turn. You can put this on a Superior EX with 1 energy and search out 3 whole cards and put them into your hand. Superior is going to be a massive card within the format simply because of that effect of that attack. Searching out 3 cards is insane. Even if you're going to be put under Iono pressure, you still searched out 3 whole cards. Your opponent has 2 Iono. They're getting rid of the opportunity to Arven. They're throwing away the opportunity to Crispin. They're throwing away their Brock Scouting. They're throwing away everything. If they have, they're gonna want to Iono you. You're searching out 3 cards.
You know
period.
What I just realized?
What's up?
This ability stacks.
Exactly. So you're hitting for 170, which swings for 340 against Dark Pokemon. Your ability itself adds 20 more damage to your active Pokemon's attack. Or 20 more damage to your active Pokemon's attack. So this stacks, you can have up to 80 extra damage due to your attack.
Base.
Exactly. You're doing a lot with the Superior. Shout out to Aaron, because this is his favorite Unova Pokemon.
True.
So Aaron's going to probably be playing this deck, and we're going to have to convince him that there's going to be better options. We're also getting, we're not getting the Coin Flip Victini, that lets you reset effects of coin flips on attacks, but we are getting a very solid Victini.
Oh my god, like I need that and Radiant Jirachi to be reprinted in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I would win a regional with that deck. I'm convinced. I made
Victini for.
Sorry, I was just gonna preface because now everyone's probably confused. I made a disgusting coin flip deck with Radiant Jirachi and the Victini Avery's referencing that lets you reflip coins. I would take that to regionals. That deck was too consistent and too strong.
I could not get mad at that. But Victini, if you have a full bench, you hit for 120 damage for 2 fire energy. If you don't have a full bench, you hit for nothing. Which doesn't sound too good, but you're hitting very, very hard with a single prizer. And you know what I mean? That's sort of what you need. Our Embor is also very, very solid. allowing you to attach as many fire energy from your hand as you want during your turn. This is the engine that fire decks actually need now. Fire decks have been sort of falling off for quite some time because of fire support just sort of not being here. We haven't really had too much fire support in the format, and a lot of decks that are sort of based on fire energy have been not really...
I mean, Flareon Box is doing a bit better, but, like, it's not for Flareon. Like, that's just there to help Sylveon. Like,
exactly.
That's why
like,
I call
Flareon...
it EV Box, because I feel like it's not a Flareon Box. It's a Evolution Box. Ceruledge is a fire deck, but it's more just a dump and destroy. It's not like a fire
you're not really
deck,
playing
like,
a fire deck.
Yes, you're just playing Professor's Research, really.
And because notoriously in the TCG, fire decks have been sort of pump up a crap load of energy, dump it all away for a big attack.
Yeah.
Or, you hurt yourself. There's a lot of things that you can notice in the Pokemon TCG with consistency with like certain how types play. Like psychic types are always very spread heavy. Fire types are always big energy, big attack. Water decks are more so setting up your Pokemon and, depending on your Pokemon's setup, you do more damage, things like that.
Discard do damage. Discard Chien-Pao, Blastoise, Greninja Break as the ability, and the Moonlight Shuriken, or whatever. Moonlight Shuriken, Radiant Greninja. I feel like Water decks are notorious for, like, play 3 energy, discard 2 of them. Ice Ride a Calyrex.
Hit hard.
Yeah.
And with that, we're also getting the Unova Trio and EX cards. Reshiram EX, for example, does 130 for 2 fire and a colorless. It does 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken, but you discard an energy. You play this with Blaziken, and you're cooking hard. You're already doing better than Charizard.
You play it with Power Glass if you want.
Power Glass, you can play it with...
Like,
exactly.
You just let it
or
rock.
just attach per turn, yeah.
Yo, or that. I mean, that's true. A Night Stretcher, maybe. An Earthen Vessel. Yeah, no,
and I
right.
see this. This is definitely a good replacement for Charizard. You know what I mean? Charizard has been sort of not doing too good. You know what I mean? Charizard's fallen off. But we also have Kyurem EX, which does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each prize card your opponent has taken. Definitely a bit more of a weaker attack effect, but still stacking up that damage at late game. You're doing 50 damage to each bench Pokemon. That can be huge.
Hear me out, right? Your opponent takes like 3 prize cards. You hit this, they take 5 prize cards. You hit this again. They take what? 1, then 3? Get up to... I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head on how we math this for TM Devo.
True.
Right? You
That's
start
a very
loading
good
up
point.
damage on the bench. Oh no, there's 70 damage. That doesn't do enough. Well, TM Diva will.
Yep, and how I win the game.
Oh, you have 3 Noctowls in play? Anyways. Thanks for the 3 prize cards off Hoo-Hoo. It's like, yo, this and Hydreigon give me similar vibes in 2 different ways, but I like it.
Mm-hmm. One thing I forgot to mention as well is we're getting the original black and white holo pattern back. A lot of the holo foils as of Scarlet and Violet have been sort of dead. I'm going to be completely honest, the holo in every pack and the reduction of the holo foil quality has sort of like upset me just a little bit. I like the idea that like, oh, you're not skimped out, but people are just going to view the holo rare as a non-holo rare anyway. It's the same thing to them. So really increasing the price of the pack and guaranteeing a holo really just didn't do anything. Yeah. But now that we're getting a black and white holo rare, it's going to look good. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And with a lot of reprints of old cards coming back, I'm sad that the Stoutland that's coming out isn't the supporter block Stoutland. That would have been so funny if they did that. But also, my goat Samurott is getting a built-in escape rope for its ability, which is huge. Once during your turn, you may switch your active Pokemon, and your opponent also switches theirs.
That's nuts, actually. I feel like escape rope is something this format hasn't seen in a bit. I like
Yep, and Samurott just having it as a built-in ability, and its attack does 30 damage, and for 50 damage for each energy you discard, or energy card attached to the Pokemon, you can build up some great numbers with this Simba Excalibur. Although it is 2 stage 2s, blah, blah, blah. I've played Pidgeot in every stage 2 deck I have, and I haven't had a problem with it, so... You know what I mean? If you're gonna cope and say that it's a problem, cope harder. I don't know what to say. I'll play Pidgeot
Iron
with
Hand's
Max
gonna
and
blow the stick
Samurott.
up.
I don't care.
All right.
I
Sure,
don't care.
whatever.
I'll blow it up.
Yeah, whatever. I'll eat the Iron Hand sitting across from me. So be it. Like.
Yeah. The judge deck check. They have 59 cards.
Oh, no, I love it, dude. I'm so excited for this.
This set is gonna be awesome. This might actually be the first set in a while that I might actually try and get sealed product of. I'm gonna need some blessings for that.
I'm not a person who likes keeping sealed product. I get why people do. Like, it is pretty cool. Like, oh, look at this
No,
shelf.
I'm
and it's
gonna
like
open it.
Oh,
That's what I mean. I'm going
sorry.
to
I thought you meant like
open the
save like the
product.
packs. I'm like, yeah,
Hell
stuff.
no.
Like, I'm opening everything I get. Like,
Yeah, like I'm a kid on Christmas. You give
Yeah.
me a booster box, I'm opening up that whole
Real.
thing.
Real.
I just wish if it was a main set, I would go extra hard at a regional just to secure 3 boxes of it.
Oh my
But
God, yeah.
with each Unova Pokemon getting a special illustration rare with the Pokeball and Master Ball reverse foils, I feel like the pull
gonna be
rates
a lot
for
of
the
hits.
set are going to be through the
What if
roof.
there's 800
And they
cards in the set? Between
They
the two?
have to be crazy
have to
pull
be
rates. There has to be.
Yeah, but there's so many of them where it's like the pull rates for one specific art are still awful, like normal. Not awful in the sense where it's like, and not everyone pulls it every time, is what I mean by awful. It's not like it's lower than it should be. But the pull rate to just get an illustration rare will probably be much higher. To just get a stamped like Pokeball or Master Ball or whatever card will be much higher overall, and I think that's pretty cool. I do like that. But yeah, if you're down to switch up, I mean, I got a Pokemon prep for Who's That Pokemon. If you want to start guessing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get
Would
it started.
you-
Also, the original energy art is coming back for the black and white base set.
So fire. I love it.
I like the way the energy looks.
Me
I
too.
like it.
Would you, by chance, like to just go over the rules while I'm pulling up?
Yeah.
Yeah. For Who's That Pokemon?
So essentially for Who's That Pokemon, what Chris is doing is he's taking a snippet of a card and he's going to send me that card's snippet. And with I have 3 guesses. Is it 2 guesses?
7
right?
guesses, 3 questions. Or 7 questions, 3 guesses.
7 questions,
excuse me.
3 guesses
Yes.
on the Pokemon. And with this, I'm going to have to try and guess the Pokemon that he is going to send me. And the
Screen is
questions have to
shared,
be
you
yes
should
or
be
no.
able to see it. Yep, question's got to be about the Pokemon. About the Pokemon card game, not the Pokemon itself. It is a standard legal card on my end. The snippet is actually way bigger than our size requirement.
Why does this look like the eyes of cloth? Why do I feel like this is like a shiny cloth?
Doubling down on cloth.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I guess let me open up the notepad so I can take track of questions.
Yeah. Who said
All
these
right,
are
first
eyes?
question. That's a good point.
Better make man
It's just
overthink
the way
everything.
I don't know. I just like. I think it looks like a lobster. It looks like a crab. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
Question number 1: is this an IR or an illustration rare?
Yes.
Does this Pokemon have ability?
No.
Is this Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet?
It's standard legal.
Standard legal,
It's
gotcha.
gonna be
Oh, okay.
That doesn't count. I'm gonna look up the card as well, just on my phone, so that I can, I'll be good.
I guess I'll say, was this card released within the past year?
Hold up. Can I? I knew a question like that was coming, so I'm like, let me just look this up on my phone right now, so I can
Yeah, you're good.
I don't remember. Can I see? Oh crap! Now I need to look up the release date of this set. I'm not sure. I think so. I'm pretty certain we're still. Yeah. It's been released in the past year.
Okay. Illustration rare in the past year.
Does not have an ability.
Doesn't have an ability. Either.
Yeah.
Is this Pokemon
Yeah.
played in any decks?
Played in what? Sorry, you cut out for a sec.
Is this Pokemon in the meta?
No. No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Have you ever made a video on this card?
No. No, I have not.
Okay. That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, this is... You know the Pokemon. I doubt you know the card. If you get the Pokemon, I'm satisfied. That is 5 questions. You have 2 questions left to help you out.
You know what? Because I mentioned this earlier, I'm gonna ask: am I staring at the eyes of the Pokemon?
Oh yeah, I want these eyes to keep you up at night. I
Alright.
want this to be what you think of when we stop recording this episode. This
Okay.
gaze will be staring at you this whole time, and I want you to know that.
So, the way the eyes are, a lot of Pokemon eyes are straight circles, and they're also like have the white around them. So, I'm sort of narrowing it down in my head, but
This one's face is iconic.
iconic. Okay.
Like it's I don't know. Something about this Pokemon is just everyone kind of knows it in the back of their mind. I feel like everyone who knows Pokemon, like if you go up to a stranger and you're like, "Hey, what's this Pokemon?" They're not gonna know. But like everyone who knows Pokemon, like a decent, I'd say like at a 6 out of 10 level, definitely knows this Pokemon for like literally no reason.
All right, so that's sort of
There's a couple
actually
hints.
helped
Yeah,
me
there's a
good
lot of hints in
bit,
there, and I'll
yeah.
give it to you because this I pulled this one out of the back rooms. Like, so what? That's you got one more question?
I got one more question, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
on to the guesses.
Oh yeah.
Is this Pokemon a normal type?
Yes, it is. Maybe I
Okay,
gave
hold
too
on.
many
That
hints. Maybe I gave too many.
So
your
this is the
guesses.
eyes.
They are the eyes.
It's an illustration rare, so there's a chance it's a shiny.
This is true.
But
This is very true.
you said it's iconic. You said 6 out of 10 people would, or
If you know
Um,
Pokemon at like a 6 out of 10
yeah.
level,
if you know Pokemon at 6 out of 10 level, so it's got to be a more recent Pokemon in that sense. So I'm probably gonna say it's a later gen, probably, definitely not a newer gen. So that sort of takes out Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet because those games are actually decently popular. If it's a 6 out of 10 level, I would probably say it could be
Guys,
an
you
X
have to
and
get this
Y
too
or Sun and Moon
hard. I should have
Pokemon.
kept my mouth shut. I shouldn't have said a word.
It's an iconic Pokemon. I'm guessing it's from Gen 6 or Gen 7. It's a normal type. This is an illustration where it has no ability. It's not in the meta. Is this an Oricorio?
It is not an Oricorio.
Ooh. Alright.
I could take a
Oh,
break
wait,
from
never.
this
I
one.
asked if it's a normal type. Why did I say Oricorio?
This is true.
Alright, good point, good point.
Yep, you're right. I like the
Is
bird
it
though. The bird
Oricorio?
mentality. What?
Is there a normal type Oricorio? I think there
No,
is.
unless they're dual type. But no, in the video game.
No.
Well, in the card game, there actually might be a normal type Oricorio. But you got me thinking video game with all the gens mentioned. Because they're all like flying, whatever, or something. You know what I mean? I think they are. They actually might even be normal type or single type. What? Monotype. I don't know what I'm saying. I've played the video game before.
He's played the video game.
What?
I said, guys, he's played the video game.
Yeah.
Ah! You're killing me!
This gaze is gonna keep you up all night. I promise you. The card itself, when you see it, I promise you, after seeing this, is gonna haunt you. Like, I'm so excited for this. This is up there on the level of like my Caterpie card that I gave you, I'd say.
You know what?
Ah,
I might just take a wild guess.
no.
Is this Beware?
Yes, it is. This is, in fact, Beware's illustration.
I love Beware so much.
Yeah.
The only reason this would help me is I saw my Instagram Reels is just like full of producing and Pokemon.
How?
So I saw a clip of the anime and Beware was in it today.
Bro, I was like thinking of what card, and I'm like, you know, it'd be really funny if I got a card with like a really intense gaze, like just staring at you the whole time. So I'm like, what? Who does that? So, yo, have you ever seen Beware cards? They're all the most intense
all
stares,
just-
bro, for literally no reason. Oh my god.
And it's such
I gotta
a
Google.
cutie in the anime, which is
No,
the worst
for
part.
real. Like, hold up. Can we just
I love
be where? I want to see all of them, bro. Like, why is he standing like this? Like, who drew this? I was looking at these and I was like, okay, like I'm limited to the standard format. Or honestly, I probably would have went with this guy. You just need a big ol' hug. But I'm like, dog.
I like the GX one. I made a really horrible deck with it at one point just for fun. Like, why is he?
Why does tail look like that?
He has bear hug as an attack. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, no, this Pokemon is epic. I don't know, there's something about it. I'm like, this would be pretty cool for today.
Like, imagine waking up after losing a battle, like you
This
black out.
is
This is what
staring
you
at
see.
you, bro. Like, yo, take my money, take my wallet, take my food, bro. Just don't hug me, man. You gonna break me.
Just anything but that, bro.
That
Please.
is crazy.
Shout out Beware.
Nah, for
W
real, for real.
Pokemon.
Good guessing.
Snuffle is also an awesome Pokemon.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I believe that'll wrap it up for the episode. So I hope if you're listening along and watching along on Spotify, check on over to the YouTube channel, help give some support. If you're watching from YouTube and you're new to the channel, check out my channel, Avery's channel. Links will be in the description down below as well as on the channel's page. And stay tuned for more future content and more mini sub-series from both of us as well as other members of the Draw Pass TCG. But don't forget, this is the new and official home of the Battle VIPs podcast. So yeah, Avery, if there's anything else you want to throw in.
Yeah, you guys have fun out there. Be safe.
For sure.
And
some Draw Pass TCG merch.
Absolutely. Remember, we have a global jersey coming out soon for everybody who's wants to. It's already out.
Yeah.
So go to the Fourth Wall site. You know what I mean. Pick up a Draw Pass, show your support,
Facts.
and represent us because you're gonna be seeing us on that stream match. Statistically, throughout the entirety of the next regional we go to, we have a solid chance of getting us on a stream match
I'd say so.
if
I'd say
all
so.
of us go.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we're closing in on what, 10? There's 10 people on the team right now. I think we still got a couple spots we're looking to fill. So yeah.
That's 9 games day one, right? So that'll be 90 games played between us. That's
Someone's
not bad.
Gonna get there.
Someone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do it with Beware.
I might put a one of Beware in the deck so I could play a 59 card deck and just cuz. Like... But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys are all doing awesome. Stay safe, have fun out there. Thank you for tuning into the episode. Anything else you want to add before we close out?
That's about it.
Word.
Appreciate you guys tuning in.
For real. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.